Hello, beautiful people. It is Zaria here for you for our celebration and completion. I am still not fully better, but geez, I'm so much better than I was a week ago. It's been an incredible 2 weeks together. I look a bit worse for wear. But it's been so good to be with you and to see the shifts in what you've gone through. So I don't want to delay. I'm going to open up my slides. How are you doing to have finished this 2 weeks Tame the Triggers workshop? I just feel, so excited to have given so many of you tools to be able to make a difference in your life. So let's go through. Right, there we go. Celebration party. Woohoo! I'm somebody who doesn't necessarily enjoy going to parties because I prefer one-to-one. And so this is like, and I don't have the energy to be like, to mask. This workshop has just kind of taken my mask off completely and just being completely authentic with everybody. And I'm just like, I'm sick, I'm showing up, I care about you. So I'm beaming you love, but I'm not being like, woohoo. There's just like, this is how I am today. All right, so let's go through. What a week it's been, the 4th to the 8th has been these lessons every day of learning how to tame the triggers. And it's just been incredible seeing people shift from ignoring, wishing feelings would just go, to learning how to turn towards them and empathize and work through what is there rather than avoid them. So treating the triggers as treasures rather than as an enemy that you have to kill, maim, get rid of because it's a disturbance and a disruption. So it's just been beautiful to see people shifting. So let's see what's coming up. We're going to bring it all together of what we've done for the whole, both in the warm-up and in the workshop, and the top tips for moving forward in your journey. The easier, faster path to taming your triggers in your life going forward, and announcing the winner of the prize. Ta-da! Okay, so let's go through the warm-up lessons. We created a vision, so I want you to just pause and remember the vision that you created of how you want life to be. And I think some people started with their vision of like, I just want to be happy all the time. One of my favorite psychologists in the sort of 50s, 60s, 70s said, his name was Haim Gnat, and he said, don't focus on being happy, focus on being caring, compassionate, confident, and wanting to make a difference in the world. And that comes with all sorts of feelings, but we got to learn to be able to meet them with love and really aspire to loving ourselves, whatever is there. Then we looked at creating time and space and energy to honor you, as well as money. Like, where do we invest our money? And what does that show about what we value or what we've been programmed to value? And does that still honor us? Are we good at making time and space to love ourselves and give ourselves the energy that we need to be able to thrive? Then we looked at shifting out of end gaming into celebrating small steps. So for those of you who missed that lesson, end gaming is like, I always want to get to the end, I want to achieve, I want to go for it. And that's exhausting because you're always on it. You're always having to people please, and you can only feel okay when everything is perfect, when everything looks good. Instead of breaking things down into small steps and acknowledging, breathing, valuing the journey, appreciating the effort and the energy that we are putting into things. And that endgaming often comes out of the sort of adultification or parentification, where we have to look good for other people and completely abandoning ourselves. Then we looked at developing belief in you. And one of the exercises was people asking friends and family what they thought of you and what they valued, liked, and appreciated in you. And for many people, this totally shifted how they saw themselves. And it was quite hard to let it in because they weren't used to that acknowledgement, that care. And if you haven't done that exercise, I would so recommend it. Making sure that you contact people who tend to be reciprocal. If you just send it to people who take, they won't respond, and I don't want that for you. When we have brought up in adversity, the impact of emotional abuse, as well as physical abuse, sexual abuse, or emotional neglect, where we just had to look good, like if you were in a religious cult, or you had to always be an adult, like in cultures, black cultures, or people of color, where you had to look good, Asian cultures, so that you were accepted. You often judge yourself to be wrong and bad because you've been criticized and picked up that you have to be a certain way. And it wears into ourselves, not believing in ourselves. So we don't have a high value of ourselves. So this was really about shifting that in you. And then the final lesson was on giving from overflow, not empty. So life isn't stressed. When we give from overflow, we do it with joy. It's a delight to be able to give. When we're empty, we're digging at the bottom of our barrel. And so we looked at like a bucket and seeing what are the leaks and plugging the leaks so that we can really fill ourselves up. And some of us were like, I don't know what I like. I don't know what fills me up, because we so had to overfunction for other people that we don't actually know how to cherish and love ourselves. And it takes with exploring, both in the childhood, what were the things we wanted to do that we weren't allowed. So now we can start exploring, do we like that? And looking and asking other people, what do they like? And then testing out things and seeing, what do we actually enjoy? Like I've done last year a comedy course. This year I've done a storytelling course. This month I start like a book writing course. I'm always doing different things to see what can I do that fuels my creativity, my sense of self, the things that I love. So I'm curious to hear what you guys do too to give from overflow. You're welcome to share in the comments, and I'll come back at the end to respond to the comments. I can't see your comments right now as I'm talking. So share us in the comments as we're going, and I'll come back and respond to you. All right. Then we had lesson 1 to 5. The first one was looking at how you treat the parts of all of you. Now, some of you might be listening and you didn't go through, life happened, and you didn't get to go through the Tame the Triggers workshop because life was going on and it was hard. I want you to have no guilt or shame. There's no making yourself wrong that you didn't do that. And so as you're doing this now, you can see how is your experience of yourself in your participation here. Like maybe you didn't do as much, or maybe you did a lot, or maybe you felt overwhelmed and you shut down. I want you to just see how you feel towards these different parts and make space for it. And say, it's okay. Whatever the experience was, is what it is. I only have compassion for you. There's no judgment for me that you did enough or you did too much or you did it in a certain way. No, I just want you to be kind to yourself. That's the whole point of Tame the Triggers, is to empathize with yourself and to be your own best friend. So I want you to see how are you meeting these parts and saying to you, it makes sense you couldn't do it. Your child was in hospital, you got overwhelmed, you got things came up for you that were intense. So I want you to have empathy for yourself and say, that makes sense. There are many people who don't do that and carry on the journey with me because they want more support to be able to do it because it felt too much for them. And that's okay too. We'd love to have you with you on the journey. Then we looked at breathing and getting safe so you're resourced and calm. And I described how when you breathe long in breaths through your nose and short in breaths out your nose, you get more anxious. When you are breathing in long out breaths, then you feel more resourced and calmer. So you want to switch and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So yes, and the other thing that we do in anxiety is breathe in through our mouths. And that dries out our mouths. It's not good for us. And it has all sorts of impact. You can look up mouth breathing. You want to breathe in through your nose with a longer out breath. And then we looked at getting safe, so you feel resourced and calm. For many of us who grew up in racism, domestic violence, misogyny, we don't feel safe in the world, and it's legitimate. And what we want to do is grow a sense of safety in ourselves, so we're not always feeling completely hypervigilant. So we can connect and respond to ourselves with empathy, healthy protection and care for ourselves, rather than a reaction and acting out what we're feeling on others or denying what we're feeling in ourselves. We want to really be there for ourselves. Then we looked at embodied discharge and creative expression, because we know for ourselves that our bodies are not, we looked at the brain and how the amygdala works and how the cortex works, and we saw that a lot of the trauma and emotions are stored in the amygdala. And so if we're just doing talk therapy without any tools, a connection to the body or creative expression, we're not having a whole-bodied healing experience. So we looked at what is the way that you utilize, what is your body to be able to heal, and what's the creative force, poetry, art, dance, that really works for you to process what is there, journaling. Okay, and then we looked at understanding you and what it takes to blossom. So we looked at our ACE scores, the adverse childhood experiences, and I explained that this must be created by white cis men because they had nothing about sexuality, gender, racism, or neurodiversity or ableism in that. And those all impact us deeply. But it looked at what are the emotional abuse or disconnection, as well as physical abuse, sexual abuse, bullying that we had in childhood, abandonment, rejection, and then seeing how did that impact who we are and what did we want to leave behind and grow in ourselves. Because when we do this, we come to know that we are not bad. What happened to us has an impact. And it's not fair, it's not our fault. And now, thank goodness, the brain has neuroplasticity, and we can grow and change. So what is the fertilizer that we need to grow the tree of who we are? So the core of us can branch into more of the things that we love, and we can develop the fruits of who we are, that we love and shine in the world. And then we looked at the stages and steps for healing, and we saw how we went from discovery to, starting off thinking I must be bad, to working through now forgetting all the different labels, going right to the end where we're creating, as well as going through the alchemizing stage where it feels like a dark night of the soul, that we've done so much work but now we've entered the worst of it and choosing who we're going to become on the other side of that. So I'm happy to do another video on that next week for those of you who missed that, because I think it's such a helpful thing to see where we are. So let's celebrate a few highlights of what people said. People said, I'm not alone. I'm soothing my inner monster now. I'm saying I matter. That is huge when you've believed your whole life that you don't matter. And the soothing your inner monster with like an inner teddy bear so that you feel met rather than shaming the feelings that you have is just beautiful. Somebody said, I'm feeling more open, and I noticed I'm finding it easier to have patience both with myself and other people. Yeah, because when we understand ourselves and we're connecting with our feelings, then we feel more patient and kind to other people, because if we're understanding ourselves, we have more understanding too for others. Somebody said, I feel more empowered to take time for me, that I'm worth spending time with. I can actually visualize how to have a positive relationship with myself for the first time. I'm much more aware of my little wins and make sure to celebrate them well and make it a big deal out of it for my inner child that didn't get this kind of encouragement growing up. If you were somebody who was criticized all the time, you're often used to negating yourself. And suddenly when you're going, well done, that's so great, you begin to boost yourself and believe in yourself in new ways. I just want to go back to that previous one where it said, I can visualize how to have a positive relationship with myself for the first time, and I'm worth spending time with. If we don't take time and invest in ourselves, then we never shift that. We never grow into believing, oh my God, I'm worthwhile, I matter. And it's so important to get to know yourself so you are your own best friend and you love being with you, because you've developed yourself into somebody that you enjoy. And that's just essential, because, I know for me, my family treated me like nobody wanted me around. And so I didn't want to be around myself. Like, I remember calling different people, are you around today? Are you around today? Are you around today? Because I didn't want to be by myself. And now I love being alone. I love being with me, because I like me. I've developed me into somebody who I enjoy being with. I like being with my own thoughts and loving myself up. So it's so beautiful to do that and shift into that. Somebody said, I'm loved and good and so much more than I ever believed. That's just so beautiful. When you've grown up thinking you don't deserve much and you're not worthwhile, and now to shift into knowing you're good rather than just bad. The parts video helped me to handle my feelings of fear even in the middle of the night, and wired me with cortisol from working with kids. And that's essential when you can separate these different things out and respond to yourself rather than just react to it and go into spiral loops of intrusive thoughts and frustrations. And then somebody said, this couldn't have been a better time for me. I lost track of myself for survival, and I tend to shut down and become so wrapped in caring for others in my job, I lost track of myself, my feelings. I needed a reminder of who I am, a connection. So every video has been an aha moment for me. I'm just aware that a lot of people often share that you can't see. Oops. I just want to just quickly come onto here and turn off the banner for a moment so that everybody can see the bottom. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, that's wrong. There we go. So our mission has been to break the beliefs from the toxic programming and become who we're meant to be. And I mentioned that people went and asked friends what they liked, loved, respected, and appreciated. If you haven't done that, I dare you, do it now. While I'm here, while I'm with you, pick up your phone, text 2 or 3 kind people, or post it on your Facebook page. I was surprised when I did that. just the different things from even people who didn't really know me, but had just known me over Facebook of what they said about me. But these were the things that people said to others, and they went and made these word clouds. I just love this, of seeing the things of what people said of inclusive, caring, lioness, kind, beautiful, strong, wisdom, sunshine, funny as fuck, just absolutely beautiful things that wake you up to who you are, instead of those voices that are undermining, negative, critical. For those of you who had verbal abuse of people who would just put you down, the list of things that I heard of: you pathetic, you useless, you unloving, you selfish, you messy, you difficult, you must be adopted, like that's an insult. That's just a reality for some people. It's not an insult. But all of those things add up to making me feel like I was wrong. And these sort of exercises rewired me to believe in myself. And I remember somebody this year saying to me, there's so many people who don't like you. And I said to my son, it just makes me wonder, what I do in the world, and has my life been worthwhile? And he just, bless him, he just said, oh, shut up, Mom. Go and post and ask people what you've done, what they value, what they respect about you. And there was just so many beautiful people who shared, and it completely altered who I saw myself. And I can go back to those comments and reread them and weave love into myself, and really know for myself that folk who are willing to sit there and say to yourself, there's so many people who don't like you, how does that serve anybody? How does that help or make any difference or change anything? That sort of comment is just bullying, meanness, and awfulness. And when you do this exercise, you realize what you really deserve. You deserve to be around people who treat you with love, respect, kindness, care, cherishing, so that you feel good about yourself because you're around the people who reflect your juiciness rather than focus on your emptiness or where you're not functioning well. So I really hope that you do this for yourself, because it's just been profound. The other thing that, and obviously I didn't want to share because it's private, is people's pictures of themselves as little kids. If you get a little picture, I'd love you to share that, because it just makes such a difference to see who you are as a little kid, so you feel more compassion and empathy. So this exercise helps you to champion yourself and see who you are in your greatness. And the little inner child, or the little picture of you, and if you are no contact with your family, you've lost everything to a fire, or you were adopted and don't have kids, pictures of you as a kid. And so people found a picture on the internet of a child that they related to, that gave them a sense of that, so that they could grow that empathy and care and cherishing towards themselves. All right. So what now? What are your next steps? It's just been such a glorious journey, and let's see how we can go. The biggest thing that I want you to remember, and this is for all of you, but especially those of you who had no time to do anything. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And we've done like these 10 videos, 10 lessons. And instead of being overwhelmed and going, there's too much, I don't know where to begin, you're looking for one next step. You don't need to do it all. You're looking for your one next step. That's all. Your one next step. And if you need support, I've got you. We've got the next step for you in that. But I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I want you to know, if you feel overwhelmed, the antidote to overwhelm is asking, what is my next one step? Okay, so let's go through this. There are 3 ways of going into the self-healing journey. You can do it yourself. And I did that for many, 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 many years. as I've described, like I would get different chairs every day to work through different parts of myself, or I would lie down doing trauma release exercises every day in the morning in my bed or at night in my bed. And at different times, I've hired a professional. I often have a therapist. I think it's really helpful having one-to-one therapy. And then there's also group work. And group work is fabulous because you get to hear other things that you might not hear in one-to-one work or in do-it-yourself therapy, because you're hearing the stories of other people. So let's break these down. Okay, in do-it-yourself, you can read different books, podcasts, YouTube videos. You can follow your own wisdom of your own body, of what does it need now, turning towards yourself and seeing yourself. I've shared different skills of what I did, from drawing, dancing, using my voice, part stuff. There are tools that you can use to process these things in yourself. The good of that is that you have the agency to do it how you want it, in the way that you want it. And I would recommend, even if you were doing one-to-one and group work, you're still doing this as an active process every day of tuning into yourself and meeting yourself, because then you're developing you to be your own best friend. And I think that's essential. When you're doing trauma work, even though I had a degree in psychology, even though I worked with hundreds of people, there were still blocks to myself. For example, I didn't want to believe that I had been abused in different ways, because I felt that if I shared about it, I would then be unloved. So I hid a lot of the abuse that I had for myself, and then I developed PTSD and chronic fatigue, hallucinations and everything. Had I got EMDR or other types of therapy earlier, I might not have gone into such a suicidal state, and I would have had guidance to get out of it quicker. So you can't always see your blind spots when you're doing it on your own. But the gift of doing it on your own is really learning to respect and understand yourself. And that's essential. So there's good and bad in that. Then there's one-to-one professional therapy. Somebody, Janet, described, was it Janet? Maybe Janet is here and she will share that how she's felt listening to me has been like pulling like a big ball of wool, and then slowly I've been like pulling them out and wrapping them up in a clearer way. And what's just, what one-to-one does is that you get that individualized attention, and that really helps to process deeply what is there, because you're in a safe space being held. The challenge is not always finding the right therapist. I've definitely had really shitty therapists. And also finding the right type of therapy for you. I did a lot of talk therapy at times, and like I said before, that helped to understand what was the issue in my cortex, so I could see why this happened and how it impacted me, but it didn't process it in a deep way. And then I remember having an EMDR therapy. While EMDR is fabulous for a lot of people, it created migraines in me, but it also helped me process. But I had to chant in my head because the therapist was so cold and like she didn't smile, she wasn't warm. And I had to chant in my head, I'm not here to be liked or loved, I'm here for EMDR. And I had to do that in every session, because I would just be so triggered by her cold face if I ever opened my eyes. So as soon as I got in, I would close my eyes so I didn't have to look at her, because I was in the UK and I couldn't afford therapy. So, and that's the other part, is that one-to-one therapy is expensive. I know that the one-to-one therapy I do, with a mix of attachment therapy, brain spotting, prolonged exposure, is really expensive. And I only see like one person a day, because my work is all going into serving more people online. And so it's a lot more expensive and it's not affordable. And because of that, I do this online work in a group. The great thing about in a group is that if somebody goes through something and shares, then other people, it awakens things that you did not realize in yourself that other people are going through. It also helps having other people who've gone through what you have gone through and can guide you and say, I remember where I was, where you are. And this is what I did. This is what helped for me. So you have like a sense of belonging and sisterhood that can support you through it. And it's weird that especially the people in my group who were petrified of clickiness or of energy where they weren't welcoming, they've just become like champions and cheerleaders of each other, because there's none of that in the group that I run. It's just so loving and connected, and they're people all around the world. So whatever time that you are awake, there is often somebody else on the other side of the world who is there. And so because I've been running my group now for 3 years this month, there's some people who've been there for 3 years who've got to the other side and they're working through things in different ways now. And they're able to say, this is what helped me at the start. Okay, so let's go through the why, the what, and the how. So why your attempts at taming triggers before this haven't worked? Well, because so often when we've grown up in childhood, we've been negated, we've been told to just smile through it, or we've been rejected for what we feel, or we've ignored what we feel because that's how we were treated. So, I look at what other people have said about how they were dealing with their triggers before. They would ignore them. They would tell themselves there was something wrong because they weren't letting go. They would get themselves busy. They would clean. They would watch Netflix. They would, strive in life to avoid everything. They would people please other people and just keep over functioning. And that doesn't help. They would also do things like positive bypass. I'm just going to choose to be happy and ignore what I'm feeling. But that leaves parts of you feeling shamed and ignored and left behind. And so, I've just shared that sort of positive bypass, and why not all therapy and spiritual healing works on emotional abuse. They're on different levels. So I've shared before in this that talk therapy doesn't work because the amygdala is the storehouse of all the emotion, and talk therapy is activated in the cortex. And so it doesn't access all the stuff that's there. And spiritual healing is often just bypassing because it's teaching you to forgive. And forgiveness isn't always healthy when it comes to abuse. I know for myself that when my mother did something abusive to me, she would say, now you have to forgive me. And if I didn't forgive quickly, she would say, you're not loving, are you? I thought you were a loving person. I thought you wanted to grow up to be a loving person, because loving people forgive. But the forgiveness was for her. The forgiveness was never for myself. It was never an honoring. She wasn't requesting forgiveness to honor me. She was doing it to let herself off the hook. And so frequently in relationships with toxic people, the forgiveness that's demanded in religious settings with toxic people is about the other person feeling better about their abuse, and then it's repeated. But what is actually healthy is learning to process your emotions, where in a lot of spiritual healing, it's like it's wrong to be angry. You shouldn't be, you shame yourself if you feel angry. You should just be love, peace, joy, kindness, forgiveness. And that doesn't help with the emotions. It doesn't help you saying to your anger, You should just be happy now. Your anger's just going to go, fuck off, It's not going to actually change how you feel. So it's really essential that we learn how to specifically deal with abuse to be able to heal. So let's look at what you actually need to heal. You need to know what abuse is and the impact of it. You need to know how it made you feel. I'm hoping I'm not going to cough myself through this now. You need to know how it made you feel and process those emotions through embodied release, creative expression, as well as being a loving witness to yourself with empathy, care, cherishing, validation of what you felt. And then looking at the skills that you didn't get in childhood of how to care for yourself, how to love yourself, how to work through the things in yourself, learning that you are not at fault, and then being able to thrive in the world. That doesn't happen just magically going, I'm going to forget everything. There's a process of these different things. And I want that for you. I don't want you to just go, wow, all this Tame the Triggers, there's all of this, and then how do I actually do all of that? So let's look forward. One, how can you do this? So if you are just going to follow the process of self-healing, you want to stop being emotionally abusive and neglectful to yourself. You want to stop insulting yourself, mocking yourself, gaslighting yourself, putting yourself down, and ignoring your needs. You matter, okay? And I don't know if I could say that in a way. My wish is that I could say it in a way that it would plant a seed in your heart that you would never forget and you continue to water every day, is that you matter. You need to shift from being against, away, avoiding, bypassing, rationalizing all your feelings away, and turn towards yourself. Remember we said that tier of towards, inquire, empathize, and respond to yourself. So you want to be attuned to yourself and notice and connect with you and get safe. So that you are noticing what's here, making whatever you feel safe, and know it's okay to feel what you're feeling. Feelings are just feelings. They're all welcome. It's behaviors that we need to watch out for, that we're not taking out the behavior on others. But all feelings are welcome. Then we need to self-empathize. What you feel makes sense. It's valid. It's okay to feel this way. Not in a way that's patronizing. Somebody shared that patronizing of, it's okay to feel this way, and you just want to punch them in the face. Self-empathizing is saying, it's understandable that you feel this way. Of course you're angry. You were violated. You want to welcome all your triggers as though they're treasures. They are treasures showing you that there's something that's disturbing your soul that you care about, that you need to learn boundaries for, or you need to learn new skills for to deal with things differently. So we want to use our triggers as highlights that are going beep, beep. There's something here that's really important. Pause, listen. These are really important. Instead of neglecting them, we want to turn towards them and go, hey, hi, what are you here for? We want to meet our needs. You matter. Remember, you matter. We're going to water that seed of you matter. So we're going to meet our needs and go, okay, what am I needing? And when you are meeting your own needs, then you flood less on other people or demand less on other people. But you might be somebody who always only meets your own needs and doesn't allow other people to support you. And that might be your learning of reaching to other people so that you allow yourself to be vulnerable. And I want you to know that you can fertilize your soul to become who you want to be, no matter what happened. What happened in the past was not your choice. It was not your fault. And it did have an impact. And with healing, you can work through that and still go for the goals and create the gifts and the talents that you have inside of you, so that you can live a life where you feel so alive and delighted to be you. To do this, you really want to fill up your love tank and explore what you love, so you come alive and you wake up going, it's good to be me. I love me and I'm glad to be alive. And for some of you who had I love you twisted, and I love you as emotional manipulation, or you didn't hear it, I love you will be something that is an aberration, is repulsive. I know for myself that having been sexually abused by my grandfather and being physically abused by my mom, I love you was used as a tool to silence me. And so when I was told I love you, I remember my kid's father saying to me that he loved me, and I just went, "Hoo!" It took me a long time to work through. That wasn't the most positive way to respond to somebody saying I love you. But that was just a natural reaction, because I love you was repulsive. And I really had to work on that. And now, bless my son, must tell me any time that he calls me, even if he's around, like he's 17, he's around with his 5 friends or whatever, and he's like, hey mom, come pick me up, bye, love you. And I'm just like, oh, bless him. I have no repulsion to I love you now. But it's taken a while to really be able to let it in. And I want you to know, I described it to somebody else. At the end of most calls, I say, I'm sending you love. And somebody was saying, not me, I don't deserve the love. And she did the last emotional abuse program, or 2 emotional abuse programs previously, and she didn't believe that. And then in the last program, she was like, I've just had a shift. I realize when you're saying I'm sending you love, you really do mean me too. And I can feel your love. So I know that those shifts are possible. I want you to create a vision for you of who you want to be and how you want your life to be. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be an easy journey. But small steps, one step at a time. You can only focus on one thing at a time. And I was reading a Facebook friend yesterday was saying about belief systems, like spiritual people or spiritual gurus going, just change your belief, just change it. And he was like, oh, what crud, you can't just change a belief system. Buddha meditated for hours every day for 10 years to change a belief system. And you think we can just go, well, change your belief, just choose to think differently. Your vision is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be in little incremental steps for you to create a life that you love. So you want to focus on your next one step. All right. So, but how? What is the next one step? Let's look. Let's see. Oh, these drawings I just found are so beautiful. They're by Rita Lloyd. She's just such a sweet, and I asked her if I could use them for this, and she said yes, because I just thought they were so perfect, just capturing the shift that we want to make to where like our life is a storm, and to really valuing self-love and shifting into seeing, we can be with whatever is there with love and kindness. So let's look at how to overcome, or my program, this Overcome Emotional Abuse. So step by step, week by week, we go through a little bit at a time. So I've described a few times in this Tame the Triggers workshop that like we only start to look at feelings in week 4 and healing anything in week 5. We first want to grow the basis, the foundation of you feeling safe in the world, knowing how to respond to yourself, how to love yourself, how to feel loved if you've never felt loved. And then looking at how to grow inner strength and protection and support and encouragement to yourself, so that step by step you grow the skills to loving you. And depending on where you are in your healing journey, some people stay in week 1 and just develop those skills and stay with the program so that you can just deepen those skills in yourself. So yeah, week by week, getting resourced and safe. You learn and practice the tools you need to overcome emotional abuse with more support, more ease, and more success. So if you're doing it alone, you may get lost at times. And this gives you guidance of the things that have helped me go from somebody with chronic, from, chronic issues of complex PTSD, being suicidal, hallucinations, flashbacks. I had it really intensely, and that was also because I denied and shamed myself and tried to gaslight and bypass everything with positive sweetness, and then it just whacked me. Most people don't get to that in this, and there are people who do come in here with PTSD, anxiety, depression, and it's welcome. We're going to work with you to be able to get the tools that you need to overcome the abuse you had. There are weekly empathy practice calls that we go where I'll support you in understanding yourself and loving yourself. The mission is to finally know how to love you and be there for you through utterly everything, so that you are never alone feeling like nobody cares, because you will be caring for you and we will all be caring for you within the group. And you'll be able to get your questions answered in the group so that you met, so that when something's going on, other people can respond and be there for you. And it builds your confidence with skilled facilitation. So while I'm facilitating there, you get to grow those skills inside of yourself and feel great about yourself of, look how far I've come, just even in a week of learning how to get safe, or how to love myself, or how to set boundaries in myself, whatever it might be. And you dissolve your resistance to moving forward. So instead of you thinking, I deserve this, this is how it's always been and how it will always be, you slowly move steps forward, knowing that you are worthy and deserving of love. And you have a community of people around you. Like I said, there are people who started with me 3 years ago this month. And I think there are 6 of those who are there. And over the 3 years, we've got a group of people who are all doing this together, who come to the program, and they each are choosing different skills that they're wanting to work on and develop, so that there isn't overwhelm. You know where you're at, and you're going, this is my focus for me and what I need to do. All right. So here's what it involves. There are 6 empathy and action calls where we're working on our understanding, our empathy, and our care in ourselves. A little secret, there might be more than that, because I kind of over-deliver so you feel really met and supported. There are also 6 love and action calls for implementation. So if you're somebody who struggles to get things done, every week we have these calls where I do half an hour's coaching and intention setting. Then you go off into your life for 1 hour, and it might be your garden's a mess and you want to do gardening. It might be your house is a mess. It might be you haven't been able to do any of the work in the group, and so you want to do some of that work. And then what we're looking at is how you treat yourself as you go through what you're doing, because my mission is for you to apply what we are learning in your life. So you're taking and integrating all that we're working on into your life. Then you come back and we do another half an hour's coaching call, and you share what worked, what didn't work, what you were struggling with, and I coach you on that. And then you go out for another hour and come back and celebrate, so that you are in those 2 hours integrating what you are learning and practicing it. So some people might go with their kids and practice, like tidying the kids' room and changing the cycle of how they treat their kids. So instead of shouting at the kids and going, why isn't this done? They're playing games with the kids. So whatever you might be struggling with, like somebody in this last program was struggling to do, she's doing a psychology degree, and she was struggling to get it done. So we were helping her every week to be able to shift and get her assignment in. So I want you to, whatever is going on in your life, other people have focused on clutter clearing, other people have focused on filing. So where you've had issues, somebody else focused, I described how she, when she started, she didn't cook, she only ate takeaways and went to restaurants because she had such fears of being in the kitchen because she was criticized and shouted at and made wrong. And we helped her to go into the kitchen and explore and treat herself with kindness and learn to cook, learn to clean, learn to stack a dishwasher so that she felt kind and caring to herself. And in the first month, she saved £500 on eating out and takeaways because she learned to cook for herself. So there might be skills in adulting that you're struggling with that you can learn in these accountability sessions. There is an accessible healing library with 3 to 20-minute videos. So the longest, I think, is 35 minutes maybe, but that's only one video. The rest of them, I tend to, like I have in this, trying to keep videos no more than 15 minutes. And there's all sorts of meditations on growing parts of yourself, on healing, growing in a mother, in a father, how to process your feelings, how to process different types of feelings, why we get stuck in our healing and how we can overcome it. There's just a complete range of videos that, and each week as we go through, if you've got questions, I make little videos for you so that you feel met and supported dealing with whatever issue is there for yourself. The meditations and bonus videos, the bonus videos on like communication, creating a future that you love. Well, you'll see in there. I don't want to take away all the surprises so that you we want to leave some things for you that are exciting. And then there's a student community with the Lufu crew. Lufu is a name that is not my birth name. It is a name that actually, when I was on a course on how to use a dictionary, I looked up the etymology of love and found that love comes from the word Lufu. And my kids decided that we were going to change our surname to Lufu because we wanted to create more love in the world. And so, and in our lives. And the folk who've been with me for the last 3 years decided to call themselves the Lufu crew, the love crew. And so as people come in, we are welcoming. We send love to all of you. We support you with love and care and goodness. There's no comparing of trauma. There's no putting each other down. There is only support and care, giving you the sort of love that you've always deserved in your life. It's just, they're such beautiful human beings. All right. So the great news is those who register in the next 24 hours will get a 15-minute focus session with me in the next week or so, where I can create an individualized meditation. So this week you start to weave love into you and care and goodness. So I would love to do that with you. So if you register in the next 24 hours, you get that. And you might have some worries that you don't have the time. I get it. And that's why we have these little small videos. So just like the Tame the Triggers, where you've seen in 10 minutes, you can get it done. And a lot of people have had like, I haven't been able to do the Tame the Triggers because life has happened. And many of the folk who have joined didn't do the Tame the Triggers and just leapt in because they said they realized they needed more coaching from me and they needed more support. They didn't want to do it alone. And in doing this, feeling like you don't have the time. One lady used to just on her car journey put in one 10-minute video every day, twice a day. And that's how she did the whole program, was just a 10-minute drive every day. You might feel like you feel vulnerable of being in a group or on calls because of past experiences. you know, if you have grown up where there was somebody who moved a lot growing up in childhood and she was petrified of coming. She didn't start when I started in October. She only joined in the January afterwards because she was like, I'm too scared. And she said, I so regret it. I should have leapt in at the start because she didn't have to worry at all. It was so loving. And if you're worried about coming on the calls, you can come on. You don't need to talk. You don't need to put your video on. Most people do because it's just so loving. But I remember somebody started and bless, she came on and she was like a little mouse. She was so worried. We were talking about it last week and she was just so anxious. She looked white. She was so scared. And she sat there and she was just like wishing that she was invisible. And after a few minutes, she relaxed a bit, realizing it wasn't that bad. And she was just saying the shifts in her. She's gone from having a minimum wage job to now growing her own business, where she's self-employed. She has gone from leaving a toxic friendships and developing loving friendships around her. She's found her voice where she's able to speak up and share her needs. It's just been incredible to see. She was so worried and she is so pleased that she did it because it totally changed her life. Her world is completely different. I might ask her to come and post about that in the Tame the Triggers group because she's just gone on this massive walk. So I'll ask her if she'll come and post about her story. You might be worried that, hey, I've got an individual therapist and I don't want to go against it. You won't find me ever going against what your therapist says. What I will be doing is giving you support between the sessions. So if you were doing, for instance, EMDR, and then you find yourself crash the day afterwards, then what this program does is give you meditations that you can do to give yourself the scaffolding of support to be able to function between the sessions. So you feeling loved and supported along the way. There are many people in the group who work with me as an individual therapist and stay in the group. And there are many people who have an external therapist because they want to work with somebody locally, because everybody in this is online all around the world. So they want to work with somebody locally who they see. And what one lady did in one of the programs is that she would take what we were working with in the program for that week, she would take to deal with her, to speak individually with her therapist. So you're welcome to invest in therapy with me, and I do brain spotting, attachment therapy, and prolonged exposure, a mix of that, and I do 50-minute and 2-hour sessions depending on what you like. But I don't go against what any therapist is saying. That's your individual journey. And, people will ask me, what do you suggest? And I'll support you to find a therapist if that's what you want. I have no objection, and I don't have a sense of contest or competition against other therapists. I want to support you in your best healing. So whatever that looks like, I want you to be able to thrive. You might be scared to face things. We had somebody like that who joined in the April, and she said, I just want to come and attend the calls and receive the love, and I do not want to look at anything. Nothing. I said, that's completely okay. You need to look at nothing. Nothing. She said, I don't want to look back at and judge anything about what my parents did. I said, that's totally okay. You need to go at your pace. By the time we got to the October, she said, I'd like to look at an issue with a friend who's been toxic. And we worked gently with her through the year with that. And by the October, she said, I don't think this toxic friend is healthy for me. And then a little while later, she said, I'm having a memory about childhood. And I don't want anybody to judge my parents, please, because I feel very tender with them, but I just want support in processing it. And so there is no pressure to go at any pace. The whole mission is for you to love and trust and honor your journey. This is about your self-healing journey. It's not about anybody forcing how you heal. It's giving you the tools to heal in the way that honors you. You might think that you're too broken. We have tools in the group for people who feel they're too broken. You know, you think of where I was. I had complex PTSD. I was suicidal. I had anger issues where I was flipping out 15 times a day. I was disassociating in between those periods. I was hallucinating. I was nearly driving my car off the road into trees because of intrusive thoughts telling me to kill myself. I was having flashbacks and nightmares at night, and I felt like I would be better off dead. I was extremely broken. And for those of you who feel like that, we have tools to be able to process. There was somebody who came to the program who I created this 15-page worksheet where she could go through those broken pieces and rewire step by step by step with love and take herself through these processes. In the first week, we look at how to stop flooding on other people and shift into honoring so that you aren't exploding in the way that doesn't serve you anymore. So your brokenness is welcome. And some people think, I'm not broken enough. Let's see if that, some people think, I'm not broken enough. I'm not that bad. There are many people who feel like that because they might not have had sexual abuse or physical abuse, but they just had parents who were focused on looking good and were focused on, their parents are genuinely loving people. They didn't vindictively abuse like some people, but they just were emotionally neglectful because they were like stiff upper lip and we just got to get on with life. And so you just don't know how to process things. You feel alone, like you don't matter. You people please and don't put yourself first. That's also great. There are many people like that in the group. There are many people who didn't have physical and sexual abuse, and there are many people who did have. And whatever your past is totally okay. You might have tried everything. You've gone to many, many therapies. The difference with this is that it's breaking down the skills to healthy attachment that you didn't receive in childhood. So you might have done a whole host of therapy, but you didn't actually get the skills that you needed at the different stages of development for you to be able to feel grounded, love yourself, and feel good in yourself. So there are many people who've come going, I've done therapy for 10 years. And finally, I'm having traction and change, because this is kind of my life's purpose of seeing how much I went through in childhood. And so, if you've gone through emotional abuse, I've been through that. The only thing that I haven't gone through is a cult. Though I did grow up having to be forced to go to church, and there were issues there, but I didn't grow up in a cult. But I've had physical, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, bullying, neurodiversity issues, and I haven't had racism. So those are two things I haven't had, but I am a strong champion of anti-racism and meeting people where they're at so that I can support you to loving yourself and cherishing yourself and taking things step by step, one step at a time, to healing you. And if you have tried everything and you just think, well, there's no point, nothing works for me, my mission is to be able to find what does work for you. And so you'll see there's a whole range of videos there. Your mission in this program is not to do every video. Not at all. You would be completely overwhelmed. Your mission is to find the things that work for you. Because there's some things on sexual abuse. If you've not had sexual abuse, no point in doing that. But if you have had emotional neglect or bullying, those are the things that would be worthwhile for you. If you've not had anger and you don't have big anger issues, don't watch the videos on anger. Those are not what you need. We want to find exactly what you need and be able to give you the support for you. You might feel it's too expensive, and I really get that. And that's why I do a year-long payment plan for you to be able to pay off not only the program over a year, but also you get, which is different. Like, I know that there are some people who do installment plans for things, and they'll say, right, you have to pay for a year, but you only get the 8-week program, and then you just have to go through it yourself. The difference here is that you pay for the 8-week program and you get another 10 months of support afterwards in the Lufu crew, Restore in the Lufu crew, for 10 months afterwards, where you get a coaching call a month to be able to work through whatever is coming up, plus the community to be able to support you. So it gets spread across the whole time. And, you know, I know for myself, lately I've been going to therapy and paying £65. I charge more than that, though I've been a therapist for 30 years. So, and I'm trained in a lot of variety. But I was paying my therapist £65, the guy who I see. And in comparison to that, I was paying that every single week. Paying him for the 9-10 weeks that the program is. I give you an extra week at the start and an extra week to complete things at the end. But just the individual therapy of 1 hour a week, it cost me more seeing him than the whole program does. And you get hours of video footage, plus at least 3 hours a week of coaching from me in different ways. And so, you know, if you think 3 hours of coaching that you can come to every single week, it comes down to less than £15 an hour of what the coaching is that you're getting from me. So it's the one way to be able to work with me that is affordable. All right. So this is what River said after she took the course. She said, prior to the program, I struggled with symptoms of PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I lacked clarity. I felt stuck. I vacillated between freeze mode or high anxiety panic mode. I struggled immensely even with the most basic thing. And learning the tools to get safe and empathize with myself has made a huge difference. It's allowed me to process my own emotions and fill myself up instead of relying on others or numbing out to cope. I function much better now, and I have more energy and less self-doubt. And Eliza said, at the start of the program, I was protective of myself, untrusting of people, and unwilling to get close to anyone outside of my immediate family, expecting people to let me down. I was very critical, and I felt anxious and depressed. I lacked confidence. I would self-sabotage as I lacked self-belief. For me, this work is a long-term commitment which bears fruit almost daily in my relationships with others. It helps me both personally and professionally and is building my resilience. My relationship to myself has changed. I'm encouraging and have empathy for myself. And Bella said, the 8-week program has given me so many light bulb moments. It helped me join up so many dots in identifying just how much of the abuse I endured as a child still affects me as an adult. The program is gentle but life-changing. Being in a group with so many other caring, empathetic souls is wonderful. I feel like I belong here, and I'm no longer afraid to face the abuse and work on rewiring it, to love me as I should have been loved. I'm becoming much more playful again. I'm enjoying life, and I'm seeing my worth. Here's what one participant said about the shifts. The 8-week program helped me learn to regulate myself so that I'm more stable, less volatile, And it also completely changed how I look at myself. I went from saying the things to myself that my abusers said to me, to saying neutral things to myself, to saying loving things and empathetic things sometimes. That gives me a cheerleader and supporter in my life, like people born in healthy homes grow up with. One lady described how in the first few months she could just hear her own critical voice. And then she shifted and she could hear my words of empathy and care towards her. And then suddenly she heard her own inner voice responding to her, saying to her that she was beautiful. She just burst into tears because she had never heard that from herself and really believed it, owned it, and felt it. This is what Agatha shared on investing herself. I felt that there were more essential things to spend money on than me. I'm laughing at this now, how ingrained it was that my own health wasn't important or essential. Without my mental health and well-being, I'm unable to carry out the tasks in my life as well, like taking care of my children, manage my household, succeed with my career, and have healthy relationships with the people in my life. Learning to love myself in my 30s has probably changed my whole life, and I'm so excited to head into the future and see what I can weave with these new skills. All right, so now it is prize giving. So there is one person who has been attending everything and who has been commenting and being so proactive that it's just been, and not only has she been proactive in turning up for other people, but she has also been responding to people and valuing what they're saying. And so I'm just suddenly my mind has gone blank of remembering your surname, so I'm just going to look it up. That's so funny. Okay. So, that's right. Okay. So the winner for the prize, dun dun dun, I should go, is Nessie Knight. So Nessie, you have won a place on the Overcome Emotional Abuse program. You showed up, you did all the exercises, you shared about it, you got so much encouragement from your friends who, you know, you were vulnerable and brave and really committed to the work. And seeing that enthusiasm, I just know how much the Overcome Emotional Abuse program is going to make a difference in your life, and it will be wonderful to welcome you into the group. And if you didn't win, don't worry, all right? The first 3 people who register will get a 50-minute brain spotting session with me. These are £127 for folk who are in the program. And folk who are not in the program charge £147 too. So it's a huge bonus. So if you sign up now, you'll be able to get that. So here are the details. You get 6 plus more empathy skill building calls. You get 6 love and action calls, 1 a week for implementing. You get this healing library with over 70 videos. There are probably more than that too, with meditations, bonus videos, plus, which is just incredible, the student community and the crew, LUFU crew. There is the link to be able to join restoring.love/overcome emotional OEAP for Overcome Emotional Abuse program. To pay installments just for the program, you can pay 3 payments of £167, or you can pay £497 in full. Or if you want to pay it over time, so you pay for both the program plus 10 months of community support to implement the work, then it's £87 for 12 months. And after that, if you want to carry on, we've just had 5 people who joined a year ago now, and they have the opportunity to continue. And most of them did continue because they just like, this is family. This is a group of people who are just there for me, and with a click of the button, I get support. So if you sign up just for the program, there's still the opportunity to sign up to get support afterwards. So don't fret. You can sign up for the installments and for the pay in full, and join the community afterwards if you'd like to carry on. So I'm letting you know that so that people don't panic. So those are the three ways to pay. Installments of 167, pay in full for 497, or 12 payments of 87. And in that, it reduces down to the coaching calls with me are less than £15 an hour. And if you sign up for the whole year, because of the amount of coaching you get, it comes down to less than £10 an hour. So, yeah. So, does anybody have any questions? I'm just going to come off and stop sharing. So you can take note of that, and then I'll stop sharing and come to the video so that I can see what questions that you have. So does anybody have any questions? I'll put the link up so that you'll be able to see it on there. And does anybody see? Oh, such a pleasure, Nessie. It'll be amazing to have you with us. So let me know in the comments if anybody's got any questions. I'm here for you. I would love you to be able to answer. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Nicola. I think I need to just find the link in the Facebook group so that I can see where the other comments are, because otherwise I can't quite see what everybody is sharing. Oh dear me. It's not letting me find the video easily. All right, give me a second. I will find it. I will hunt it down. It's suddenly going to blast, I bet. All right, let me find it. There we go. It's not letting me. It's not. I can see that so many people are saying they can't actually get in. It's not letting me. Okay, I found your comments now. Okay, so, oh dear, so many people have struggled to be able to join. That's so annoying. I'm sorry that you weren't able to find it, and I will send out the replay once you've finished. So, yeah. Okay, so does anybody have any questions so that I can answer your questions, and I can respond to you? So somebody said, yeah, I found that the belief thing was the most rewarding activities, as I never see my positives. Somebody said, I live in the sea where my pets and outside refill me. That's so lovely. Somebody said, I do Qigong and have bad days. That's so lovely. Somebody said, I used to do meditation and to have the Calm app. All right. Somebody said, I can't forgive my abusive ex. You know, there is no rule for forgiveness. You don't need forgiveness to heal. It's a lie. You don't need to forgive to heal. You just need to process what happened and to work through what's there. Somebody said, I really am beginning to think my positives are bigger and stronger than my negatives. That's so great. I love that. I'm so proud of you. And I love you doing the naps or naps during, you know, it's so, oh yes, that's right. So somebody was saying we do self-care or naps during the accountability sessions or the love and action sessions. Being able to post in a community is so amazing. It really, I agree, it just gives you so much support and other people. Somebody was posting and she posted poetry, this workshop, she posted poetry having just been so criticized for sharing things growing up, and had so many people responding to her beautifully that it was just so healing and rewiring having other people. And I just need to be honest. There was somebody who came into the program a few programs ago who criticized what somebody else felt. And I just removed her from the group. I just said, we don't treat people like that. I just have no toleration from it. So we have a very safe group, and it's just, there is only going to be kindness and care. And I am a mama bear when it comes to boundaries and protecting people from anybody. There was somebody like saying, oh, you think that's bad? I've got it far worse. I'm like, no, that's emotional abuse. We're not having that here at all. And I just removed her. I just said, here we go. You need to, I can't have that not happening on my watch. It's not, nobody here is going to have emotional abuse in my group. So yeah, that's so true. So in the community, what is so great is that people know your story, so you're not explaining things. You can just share, and people just follow along. Okay, so Nessie one. Okay. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that somebody said I was on another call. And thanks so much for sharing the journey. So does anybody have any questions? Because I would love to be able to answer you and share, respond to you. Do you have any questions at all about the program so that I can meet you? So somebody said, I think it's impressive how much you're giving to everybody who participates. I so understand. I hoped it would be an hour too, but I think I spent more time describing things and telling stories. So I apologize for going over time. I wanted it to be an hour too. So does anybody have any questions? I really do want to give to everybody who joins the program, because I want you to feel met, loved, cherished, and feel like you matter. And so I do give deeply, and everybody has just been so lovely in the community. And I'm excited to say that Annie has joined us. And so Annie, you will be receiving a brain spotting call with me. So I'm excited to give you that. And Annie has been coming to different workshops. She's done the Choose You workshop. She's done the Tame the Triggers workshop. She's done the self-empathy stuff I've done before. So Annie, it's just a thrill to have you with us in the Overcome Emotional Abuse program. And Janet said, you always give the value that you promised and more. I really want people to be met. So I look forward to the next two people who join will also be winning a brain spotting session with me. For those of you who don't know what brain spotting is, it is a therapy that came out of EMDR, and it is for people who had trauma, accidents, from birth trauma to abuse, and it helps you to process that, integrate that, and resource yourself. So it's a beautiful therapy, and it's a delight to be able to offer those folk the 3 people who sign up first. I look forward to being able to work with you. And anybody who signs up in this next, after the 3 people, in the next 24 hours, will also get a 15-minute session where you can share a few things of what's going on for you, and I'll make you an individual meditation so that you feel loved and cherished. Okay, so are there any questions at all? Any worries or concerns about the program? We begin on Monday not tomorrow, but one Monday in 1 week. And there are 5 days that the doors are open for. Um, and what concerns or challenges or fears have you got, so that I can address you and I can support you with it, so that you feel, you get your questions answered and you feel met. Let me know what are your worries and your concerns that you have. What are the things that you'd like to ask me, so that I can meet you and make sure that you feel loved and cherished, and all your questions are answered. Let me know. Let me check if there are any other questions. Okay. Yeah, so I appreciate your assurance that if somebody's abused in the group, you won't let them continue. That's always reassuring. Yeah, you've seen it, Janet, that as soon as somebody is not healthy, for the focus of the group is self-healing. And if you're in a place that doesn't feel safe, you can't heal. And so my mission is to make it utterly safe. So every single one of you feel loved, supported, cherished, and welcome. And we just have everybody being understood or cared for. And so there's a shift in the group where we don't give advice, we don't tell others what to do with their lives. Like, I will guide people and coach them on how to face whatever issue there is. But as members, our only mission is to empathize, to cherish, and to help people love themselves through whatever they're going through. Janet said it's what makes it such a safe space. I have never shared so much of the stuff that I have here ever. I just felt safe to do. Exactly. And you can share whatever is there in your life, so you feel completely met, and you don't need to hide anything. And I share what has gone on for me, so that you can see there's nothing to be ashamed of what you do. If I have a challenging day and I mess up as a parent, I will share that. So you see, we will get it wrong. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being better at being human. Nikki, such a pleasure, and I wish you well on your journey too. It's been a delight to have you with us. And for those of you who have just done the Tame the Triggers workshop, you've got a few more. Oh, sorry, it was Nessie who said that. I just guessed that it was Janet. It was Nessie who said it's such a safe space. Those of you who have done the Tame the Triggers, you've got 1 more week to be able to do the work, and I will be doing a couple of other like meditation and calls this week, and then the group will close on Sunday, and we begin the Overcome Emotional Abuse program next week. So so utilize that space to be able to connect and or to process whatever is there from the Tame the Triggers workshop. Any other questions or thoughts about the program, so that I can answer your question and get you supported, understanding you. I don't want anybody to leave this call with any questions that are there, so that you have got questions that you haven't asked. I want to hear what your questions are about the program, about the journey, so that if you're still here, I can imagine that there is something that you are wanting to hear, and I want to be able to support you and hear what is there for you. So let me know, what are the questions that are there for you, so that you can be met. I see Helen said, I feel like this is prolonged sales pitch. I really want, what happens for me is that if I don't share deeply about what the program is, then afterwards people go, I don't understand what's in the program. And I don't want people to be confused. I want to be able to be clear and share exactly what it is. But I understand too, Helen, that maybe your comment comes out of a fear of like, I want to know what the cost is because I'm feeling hyper vigilant because I don't know if I can afford it or not. So I want to know quickly so that I can decide if it's right for me. And I can understand that. I've been in situations too where it's scary and I don't know how much something's going to cost and it makes me worried. So I can understand that. But I also want to take the time to be able to share fully and deeply about what the program is so that people understand it, can make a decision and honor themselves. And I certainly don't want something to be prolonged and torturous for you. So I'm sending love to that part of you that felt like that. So does anybody have any other questions, any thoughts, any concerns, so that I can meet you next week? I will ask a couple of the people who've done the program to come and share, because it's one thing hearing from me. Janet has obviously been in the program. I'm trying to think of when Janet joined. Okay, so it was June, 2 years ago. So just 2 years and 3 months. And there's some people who join and stay for a program, and then other people who choose to continue because you want to be part of a loving family. So somebody said, I will think about the program. Great. Let me know if you have any questions so that I can answer you, so you feel met and you get all your questions answered, so that you let me know what your concerns are. Is it possible to join the Tame the Triggers? You've got 1 week of the Tame the Triggers, and the doors close at on Sunday. So tomorrow morning, the sales page will switch, and it won't be able to join. But because it's my assistant's birthday today, she wasn't able to switch the website. So you could join and you could race through it if you like. That's fine. It will just be a bit of a rush. But this week I'll be doing things, sharing different meditations and different things. So Amelia said, I'm still here listening just because it makes me feel better just to hear your voice. Oh, Amelia, you're so precious. And that's how deeply your work travels, right in the heart of my healing. And I echo everything Janet said. This is a superbly safe group, and I've never known trauma recovery like it, from Amelia. Amelia, it's just such a delight to have you with us. And, the one thing that I will share about different people is they access it in different ways. So some people come to every single video. Some people come to no videos, to no coaching calls, and they just go through the videos on their own. I don't recommend that because, and you're welcome to do that. I just don't recommend that, because then you don't actually get the sense of connection, camaraderie from other people. And you get to hear that other people are being met and loved, and you get to feel safer because you're seeing it happen from me meeting every different person. And some people will, you can do it for a week and then be quiet for a week, and then do it for a week and be quiet for a week if you need time to process, or life happens. We don't demand how you show up or how often you show up. We do expect that everybody will treat each other with kindness. That's a rule. Don't be a dick, just be kind. But you can share what's going on for yourself and be met and loved through it all. Nikki said, I don't see it as a prolonged sales pitch. I see it as what else you have to give. And some may have taken all they need from the warm-ups last week. Others might realize they need more help. Exactly. But I think that when somebody wants to join and they are feeling a little bit anxious about how much it might cost, then they're like, I don't need to hear any of the details. I just want to know how much it is. And I really get that. I have experienced that too. So I'm not making them wrong by sharing their comment. I'm just sharing. I really understand that kind of panic of how much is it? And I've been there, I'm a single mom. It's hard and money is tough. And so I really get it. I'm not some big organization. I have to think about whatever I spend. Can I afford it? Is it okay? I've got a daughter at university. It's expensive. Setting her up with everything. It's hard deciding where you're spending your money, so I can understand. But I also want to express to people what is in the program, so you really understand it and you can make a decision of what is honoring and right for you. And what I know from folk doing it is that you will weave love into parts of you that have never felt loved, cherished, cared for in your life before. And at sometimes you might feel resistant because you're like, I don't believe this is true because I'm not lovable. I've been told I'm not lovable. And over time, that will shift. It will shift and you will come to know that you are worthy, you are deserving, and you will learn those skills to become your own best friend. So share with me, those of you who are still on this call, what are the questions that you have so that I can answer you, so you feel met, you feel heard, and your fears are met, so that I can answer you and really respond to what is there. Sending you love, Nikki, and I hope that you have a kind week too. I'm happy if anybody wants, to message me privately quickly and say, hey, is this for me? That's completely okay. Not okay to message me all your trauma, because that's overwhelming, but it is okay to message me and say, I'm just wondering if this is for me, and this is my question about it. So just leave me a quick 1-minute voicemail or a short paragraph on what your thoughts are, and I'm really happy to respond. You can just click on my Facebook page and send me a message, and I'm happy to respond to you. The doors will close on Friday at Pacific midnight. Those of you who sign up in the next 24 hours, we've got a fast action bonus, which is a 15-minute call, where in that call you can share with me the top thing that's going on for you, and I will do a meditation just for you of weaving love into parts of you that haven't been met, so that you can listen to it, love yourself up, and cherish yourself. And the first 3 people who join, remember that you'll get a brain spotting session. And those of you who want a brain spotting session or more brain spotting session, you'll see when you purchase this, you can buy additional brain spotting sessions. And those of you who sign up will get cheaper, a discount on brain spotting sessions with me. You become part of the Lufu Crew family, and so you get a discount. So I hope that helps. I know if people are here, it's because they want to hear something, and they're wondering, and they've got questions, and I'm trying to tune in. What are your questions? What are your concerns, so that I can meet them? I want to say this. I won't persuade any one of you to join, because I want you to join the Overcome Emotional Abuse program because it calls your name and it's right for you. And it's the thing that you need to do. So I'm not in the business of persuasion. I'm a therapist. I'm not in the business of twisting your arm, manipulating you. I will not do that at all. I will only share, hey, this is everything that's there. I will not use fear. You are completely capable of doing this work. But if you want guidance, support, care, nurturing along the way from me and other people who've gone through the program, then this would be beautiful. So what I won't persuade you and I won't tell you what to do. So Kay, I hear you. I hear you want to do it, but you don't know. So what is it? I hear the part of you that's saying, I want to do it. Like I want to get healing. I want to, oh dear, sorry, I missed the thing. I want to do it, but I don't know how, but I don't know. What is it that you don't know? What is it that you are wondering about? What part of you, if you turn to this part of you that goes, I don't know, ask it. What don't you know about? What do you want to ask Saria about? And I will answer. I'm not going to persuade you. I'm not going to tell you it's right for you. I'm going to share what the components are so you can make that choice for you. But let me know. So Alma said, I just logged in. I couldn't make the 8 o'clock, so I've jumped in now. So glad that you jumped in. I'm wondering if the program is for very recent trauma. Many people do it because they've just had like a breakup, or they've had an upset, or they've they've just gone no contact. They've had a work experience, like some people joined because they had a racist experience at work and they wanted support. Some people joined it because they went through an issue in a friendship circle where they've been scapegoated. So absolutely, that it helps for trauma that has just happened. And it helps to rewire the things. If you are struggling with the trauma, my guess is that you also had parents who didn't teach you how to process, how to get safe, how to work through emotions, how to love yourself through situations, or situations as I call them. So this program will give you the skills to be able to do that. Okay. So I genuinely think, I just want to see who this is. Okay. I genuinely think for myself, I'm all in, hi Tony, jumping in as I know I'm at that point. I'm too aware of my own emotional abuse, and I think that it's the fear of I'm over it. And how will that fear when it's all that I've ever known? So I promise you it won't be like quick of it's all disappeared. All right. It's not a fast journey. It's not a magic fix. These are all the tools and the skills that we haven't learned in our whole lives. So it's not going to happen overnight. But we are going to be there for you. And there are many people who, like, when they come in, it's learning to be the chooser in your life. Like, I'm going to choose to be who I need to be or want to be to create a life I want. But we will set you up on how to be the chooser. Because when you're starting, you're just working through that, what's happened, and building the scaffolding, creating the foundations for how you want to treat yourself and work through yourself. And we're going to take it step by step. It's not going to happen. We're not going to swoosh in and change everything and then you're not going to feel stabilized. It's going to happen step by step. Step by step. We're going to support you, love you up. And while you were aware of the emotional abuse, what we're going to do is change how you treat yourself, or you're going to change how you treat yourself, of treating yourself with the love and the kindness, the empathy and validation that you deserve. When it's all that you've ever known, it's become like concrete inside of you, that's how it is. And it will take a while to melt that and to rewire the foundations, and we will be with you every step of the way. And remember that there are still two places for those who want to sign up now, and you will get a brain spotting session with me. so that if in the program something arises that is challenging for you, you have me to go, hey, I want to work through this with some support. Okay. So somebody said, I think it's if it doesn't make a difference and then I've spent all that money and I'm not working, so it would be my husband's money. Oh, that makes so much sense. That just makes such it makes such a sense that that's your concern, that, you don't want to use your husband's money and it doesn't make a difference. That really helps me to understand what the issue is for you. So every person that has done it, I can see shifts in, and they can see shifts in. And if it does take consistency from you of showing up and doing the work. But what people have found has changed is that their relationships, every person, like on one of the calls that I got on to somebody, the husband said he wanted to share how much it's changed him and his colleagues, his wife coming on the course, because there are less conflicts. He is more regulated because she's happier and more regulated. She's more empathetic, and through the empathy that she has for herself, it's changed how the husband treats himself. It's changed how he treats his work colleagues, because it's just had a ripple effect in their lives. So I know that it makes a difference now, having done it for years, and there've been hundreds of people who've gone through it. I see what a difference it makes in people, that they become kinder to themselves, more gentle to themselves. They become more aware. There are things of communication. So if you're going through challenges with your husband, you're able to access the parts of that where, if you're wanting to communicate through an issue, or you need to resolve something together, there are videos on how to deal with that. So, I know that it does make a difference because I have seen it in so many people's lives. And it's just been such a gift. And once you have finished it, you have access to it. Many people who do it, you're not able to share it with people outside your home. But I'm happy for you to play the videos to your kids so that you can do the love meditations together, because that's what I did with my kids. Every day I would make up a meditation, and when my kids were growing up, and we would do the meditation before they went to school to fill themselves with love. So I have the meditation, filling yourself with love, and you can listen to that with your kids, or listen to that with your husband. If a husband is going through something, like we had a husband who was scared because he had lost his job, and I said, play that video on creating a better life so that you can support your husband. And they watched it together and discussed it. So I'm happy for you just in your home to share the videos. Your partners are not able to come into the group because that's confidential space, but you are welcome to share the videos with them. So that they can also understand what you're going through. And if your partner's had abuse or gone through stuff for themselves, then you're able to share things with them too and watch it together. So I hope that answers your question and your fear, Kay. I just have seen such difference in so many people. So is there anything else for anybody else that you're on the fence, or you're wondering, or you're thinking, is this for me? These are the concerns that I have. And I'm happy through the week to be able to answer other people's concerns. So you're welcome to send me a message and ask me what is there. I'm really, really happy to go through it. Would you like me to do later on in the week? I'm happy. I'm going to lose my voice soon. would you like me to go through and show you what's in the program so you can see the website? I'm really happy to do that, to show you over the week, show you what's in the program so you can get a sense of it. So anybody else here who's on the fence, got a question, I am here for you. I want to answer you. I want to be able to make sure that you have your questions answered. And yeah, you feel met and cared for. You know, there's some people in the group now who have done the program 6, 7 times. There's some people who've done the program once. But what is helpful about having other people who've done it before is that there's a range of people who have had like anger issues, anxiety, PTSD, social anxiety, or they've had emotional abuse, like they might have had a happy home but just not been met emotionally. The other people who've had sexual abuse, physical abuse. So whatever you've gone through, there are people who've had racism. There are people, because I worked out that I was probably autistic, have ADHD and dyslexia. There are people who are also neurodiverse. And so you can ask questions of those who've done the program before and say, I'm struggling with this, how did you guys cope with that? And other people will share. So there are many people who just join year after year because it offers this deep, supportive, loving community, like a family. For those people who don't have family who deeply cares for them, it's a beautiful space. And other people have incredible family who are deeply loving, but you might have experienced trauma that you haven't been able to process and haven't known how to process. That's perfect too. We are able to meet you, love you, support you through whatever you've gone through. So wonder if anybody is wanting to ask any questions. This week I will also ask a couple of people who are here who have done the program before if they will come and do a little live video, so that they can hear, they can share with you what their experience is. Because it's one thing me saying what it is, then it just comes across sort of salesy of what is there, and that's not my mission at all. I want you to tune into your heart and say, hey, is this the thing that I need to do for me for now, for my healing? And if you get a yes, then honor your intuition. If you get a no, see how you feel towards that no. See, what is that no saying? Is the no coming from a place of fear? And do you need me to address that fear? Or is it like, I don't need this, I've got therapy and I'm doing it on my own? That's completely okay. There is no pressure for you to join. The mission in you is to ask yourself, ask your soul, is this the thing that will support me to be able to be loved, cherished, and grow the skills that I didn't have in childhood or that I don't have now? Because we don't learn in schools or universities how to process emotions. There just isn't that. And so in this program, you will learn that. So I'm not going to, in this week, persuade you, push you, tell you anything. I am going to be there for you, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to answer your questions. And if people come up to me with fears or worries about what they're feeling, then I will address them through the week so that you can really get clear on what it is, if this is right for you. And remember, there's a fast action bonus. So if you sign up in the next 24 hours, so until 10 o'clock tomorrow night, those of you who sign up first will get a 15-minute meditation or a call, and we will create a meditation of what length that you're wanting it. Some people like 5-minute meditations. Other people I've done 3-minute meditations for because they just want a dose. When I used to when my daughter had anxiety, I used to leave little video meditations for her, or audio meditations for her, that she could listen to in the toilets during the day. And so I want to be able to give you doses of love like that, so that you, whatever length works for you, so that you can listen to whatever the issue is, whether it's depression, anxiety, PTSD, anger, panics. Then I can do you a little voicemail that you can listen to again and again and again and again, so that you feel loved and cherished and connected. All right, lovely people, there are still 9 people that I can see from all over the different videos that are here. And I am guessing that there's some sort of question. I'm going to be on here for 2 more minutes, and I want you to tune in and just ask your heart, do I have a question for Zaria? Is there a fear? Is there a concern? Is there... oh, okay, so as I'm tuning in, the fear that I'm hearing is, will I be liked by other people, and will it feel okay to be me? I want to be really honest. We are a bunch of very different human beings. We are all over the world, from Australia to America, in different places in Europe. We are in Chile and Saudi Arabia. So we have a complete range of people all over the world. We have people who are neurodiverse. We have different races, different nationalities. Everybody has different issues that they've gone through in their lives. We are often misfits who have gone through different things, who are all weird in our own ways, and over time we get to fall in love with different people's weirdnesses and love who they are and cherish who they are for who they are. We have a whole range from somebody who's 26 to, I can't remember the oldest. I'm trying to think of who is the oldest now. I think somebody was 67. I'm trying to think of what the oldest is. But there's a full range of age. And what's so great about the range of age is that people can see things that they went through at that age of what they were going through. And there isn't like a stipulation, you have to do this video today, except for the safety week, where we really, really hone the safety skills, because we want you to feel regulated and safe throughout the whole thing. So in the first week, we have a welcome week to get to know everybody. Lindsay said, I'm definitely a misfit and weird. Come and join us. You'll fit right in then, Lindsay. We'd love to have you with us. You know, it's 8 weeks of rewiring yourself with goodness and love. And I can't think of a better gift to give yourself in 2021, where we've gone through a pandemic with COVID and feeling so isolated and alone. It's just a loving group of people where you can go, you know, this is my time. One lady joined when she was 40, and she said it was her 40th birthday present to her. She joined 2 years ago, and she's still with us. She's just so lovely. She said, I realized I have spent 40 years being impacted by emotional abuse, and I don't want to spend the next 40 years living that out. I deserve love and care and goodness, and I'm going to create that for myself. And so if you've got to the point now of, I am done, you are happy to be a misfit, you're happy to be weird, but you are done with treating yourself like you are wrong and bad, and you want to treat yourself with acceptance, love, and cherishing as somebody who's a misfit, who's weird, who's different, then you will so belong, because that's all that we are all about, is rewiring you with the love, acceptance, and cherishing that you deserve. The only stipulation we have is that we are not rude or mean to other people, but we are kind and loving, knowing that everybody is having their own troubles and struggles, so we're going to be kind along the way. And I teach you how to do that. I have a worksheet on how to shift it from flooding and into being empathetic that you can do in the first week to learn that. So, yeah. Let me know if there are any other questions. Message me if you have any questions. I can see a few people have come on. If you've got any questions about the Overcome Emotional Abuse program, the doors are open now. We've got place for 2 more people who want to win a brain spotting session with me, a therapy session. And we begin the program next Monday, and doors close in 5 days. So come and join us. We would love to have you with us. If there are no more questions, then I'm going to go to bed. I can feel my throat's getting sore. So no more questions? All right. Well, through the week, if you think of any questions in the next few hours, message me, let me know, and I would love to answer you so you feel met and loved. All right, everybody. So much love to you. Hope you'll come and join us, Lindsay, and everybody else, Kay, Tori. That's perfect. Message me tomorrow and let me know what's there so that I can respond. We'd love to have you with us, Kay. Okay, everybody. Sending you love. Bye. Hello, beautiful people.